Hey there, welcome to my channel. This is The War on Men, where we talk about all the issues that are affecting men in our society. Today's topic is why women don't pay child support. Stay tuned! Hey, you know the drill. You thought it was going to work out, you fell in love, maybe even had a kid. But now things have gone south. Well, what's going to come of that? Well, if you're a man, you might want to stay tuned because you're going to find out that you're going to be taken through the ringers. See? Welcome to my channel. This is The War on Men, where we talk about all the issues that affect men in our society and how there seems to be a actual war against us. I do not mean that figuratively. I mean that quite literally. You can see it in everyday situations. You know, some men talk about it, some don't. Our society kind of makes it so that it's kind of not really kosher to even talk about having issues if you're a guy, because a lot of times you end up getting made fun of, right? It's like, oh, just stop your complaining or whatever. Well, this channel is kind of for that very reason. I looked around the internet as well as in real life to try to find support groups, and the closest thing I could come up with is things that are on YouTube. I know there's Reddit stuff like that that's also available, but I felt like if I reach out to the YouTube audience and I tell people about my issues in my life and I share some of the things I've learned, maybe you guys can share some of the things that you've learned. Anyways, this is kind of supposed to be a community to support each other. That's really what this is about. So, why women don't pay child support? What I've seen when I read statistics about this is that basically, I think on average it's something like 90% of all child support is paid by men in the United States. And to further that point, actually, when women are the ones that are supposed to pay the child support, they tend to just not pay it. We can see that in the statistics that are out there. Why would those reasons be? I look at it like there's still this notion in our society saying, well, men should support women no matter what, and that women shouldn't really have to do the same in reverse. It really kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier in the video, that when you talk about venting as a man, you're basically supposed to not even feel pain. You're supposed to just kind of take it on the chin, right? Pay your bills, get verbally, emotionally abused, maybe even physically abused, and don't complain about it. That's what our society seems to say is okay. I would even boil that down to so much as even when you go out for a meal, I think most people still look at it like the guy's supposed to pay, if it is a straight couple. It seems like the guy is expected to pay. And again, you just look at that like, well, is it strictly a money thing, or does it go a little deeper than that? I think it goes deeper than that. I think it's more of a case where our society seems to believe that men like literally can't suffer. Like it's just, we don't even have the ability to suffer, right? So I think psychologically, part of the reason why women probably don't pay child support very much is that you guys kind of, when I say you guys, I mean you girls, kind of think that it's just not really necessary. Like, oh, well, this amount that I've been ordered to pay by the court, it's just punitive. So I don't really need to pay that. He doesn't need to have my money. He can go out there and figure out how to make more money. He's just being lazy. That is echoed throughout couple after couple after couple, that get hit with these support orders from court. And then the court kind of takes that same ideology, right, and says, what do you mean you can't pay this $1,000 a month child support, right? That's not our problem. That's your problem. How many guys out there have heard that before, that it's not the court's problem, it's your problem? But then when it's flipped around, right, it's almost like you would think feminists would be fighting in waves to change the family court system, to change all of these rulings, ruling in favor of women winning the kids and then subsequently getting all the money. You would think they would be more in favor of having that, more equal. And yet that's not the case. So it's a really strange conundrum. And I think this is probably part of the reason why a lot of men get depressed and it may be even hard for people that haven't gone through this to understand this, is that when you experience the family court system and you're supposed to simultaneously believe that the woman needs all this help, but then society will say, yeah, but women don't need any help at all. They're really strong and courageous. So, which, I do believe women are strong and courageous, but I just feel like the family support system wants to keep believing that they're not capable of doing more. And it's twisted into this belief that says, you are a man, therefore you cannot feel any pain. All right. So it doesn't matter what the amount is that we've ordered you to pay. You just have to pay it because you're a man and you can't feel any pain. And the woman that receives this payment cannot provide for herself. And even if she can provide for herself, we're not even going to ask. We're not going to ask for an audit. We're not going to see whether things have changed, 6 months from now. We're going to leave that all on you, the person that pays the support, to then get it adjusted later on and in case things change. That is really not usually the way things work in our society. Imagine if you only had to file your taxes every 3 years, let's say. Because that's basically the limit. Every 3 years, you can request a modification of support. No one in their right mind can think about our tax system working that way. Oh, well, you know what? Every 3 years, just report. You don't need to report every year. We'll just believe that your income stayed the same for the last 3 years. No worries. That's the way family court system works. They just assume that the parents aren't changing jobs or changing income or anything. It comes down to victim identity, really. I even read a statistic that says that men actually earn more when they don't receive child support, and women earn less when they don't receive child support. Now, I thought that was a really interesting issue that I read about. It seems to me like, so if a guy isn't getting help from his ex-wife or the baby mama from his kid, then what he does is he figures out a way to actually earn that. Now, you could say that argues right to the point that, guys inevitably just figure out how to earn more. You could also kind of argue that we might be hardwired to take more risk, if that's part of our thought process. But I think it's interesting, it's almost like, yeah, we can make it happen if we need to, whereas to me, I think the biggest reason why women would not be paying as much child support as men is not really a money thing at all. I think it's an attitude thing. I think it's, like I said, it's basically a result of our society trying to say to people, you know what, just because you were born this way, or I guess nowadays if you identify this way, doesn't mean that you should receive equality. It just means that, we're going to apply these certain principles to you, and then when it comes to the other party, we're not going to really apply the same principles to that other party. It boils down to sexism in our society. Okay, so I've had to pay child support for quite a while, like over a decade. And I can tell you it just kneecaps me every month that I have to pay it, So those of you that are out there, men and women, if you're also paying it, then, and if you're watching it, leave a comment in the section below, let me know how you're going through that, how the court's been treating you, your own experiences. Like I said, this is supposed to be kind of a community forum kind of thing, and I'm going to stand in front of the camera and basically just vent. Or I'll comment about articles that I'll read that affect men. I really think that in the coming years, when family courts get hit with gay couples that are going to divorce, the family courts are going to basically implode. But it'll be good. It'll actually help the courts improve because, think about it. If you're a judge right now and you know who the man and who the woman is, that's an easy thing. Unless there's something that sticks out, you can just literally say, yep, woman gets the kid and the support, done, next case, right? And you're not going to get appealed. You're not going to make waves or anything. In gay couples, when they go through the divorce, They're not going to be able to do that. They're going to be able to say, well, this is, Joe and Al, and oh, well, wait a minute, they're both guys, or Susie and Stacy. Wait a minute, how am I supposed to determine who gets what? Now I actually have to pay attention to how they are as actual people. I actually have to look into the case and investigate. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe that's something that can actually kind of secretly, maybe not solve the issues of family court, but it can definitely enhance the abilities of the judges, because it's really going to make them be on point in the future when all those new couples come into court, and all of a sudden, those techniques that the court now currently enjoys being able to just decimate, 50% of the population, basically men, by hitting them with those support payments, taking away the kids. Oh, every other weekend's fine, just make your support payment. All that changes, all right, when you have two people of the same sex that are now going through a custody issue, going through a divorce. I think it really, I'll touch upon one other issue, is that how many of you out there that pay child support have ever stopped and considered that it's not taken into account with taxes? Okay, so if you fill out the IRS form, maybe I'll do a separate video on this, because it's a pretty interesting subject. But if you fill out the IRS form, your 1040 or whatever, it's not going to say on there how much do you pay in support or how much do you receive in support. It's all done under the table. All right, so now all of you out there that pay support, you already know this. All right, but if somebody's out there watching this and they don't have a kid, you need to understand that that's kind of fishy. All right, there ain't no other thing that I can think of. I don't know. Let me know in the comments section if you guys know something else that's structured like that, that's totally a tax-free exchange of money from one party to the other. If we as men are paying women all this money in support and it's undocumented, essentially, in terms of taxes, how does that affect this purported pay gap? I would love to know how that factors in, if we could see where all that money is actually, how it's adding up. I think it would definitely affect, not that I really believed in that pay gap thing anyways, but at least it would lend credence to saying that it's, not as bad, or as whether it exists at all. That's a whole other video. I think I'm going to try to wrap it up because I've said a lot here for the first video. But if you've made it this far, give my video a like. Let me know that you like what you see, what you hear, and what other topics that are affecting you guys out there. Because, it's going to make me feel better, I think, to connect with people out there and kind of hear stories, because ultimately we are all kind of in this together, even though you're watching this from your phone or your computer or whatever, but we can still kind of support each other. And I think as men, that's crucial, because if you go out there and you try to look for a support group, good luck. Let me know what you find. Let me know about any lobbyist groups you find as well. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks, guys. This is A War on Men. I'll see you in the next one. Stay tough.